Hey, everybody, this is Carlos Mencia, and you are listening to The Barn.
Hi, and welcome to The Barn, live from the Barn studio. You got the Mox here, and I'm joined online right now with a special guest, Mr. Carlos Mencia. Carlos, how are you, man?
I'm great, man. I'm actually really good. Like a lot of comedians are complaining right now, but I actually love this environment. I really do, man. It's just a perfect environment for a guy like me who doesn't push the envelope to push it, but just because I think it's funny and real. And with people, how sensitive they are and all this stuff, I love it. I love people coming out of the show saying, yeah, keep saying what you're saying, keep doing what you're doing. I've been on a kick where I've been doing a lot of stories about me hanging out with people with disabilities. And almost every show, man, somebody with some disability comes to the show. And inevitably, somebody gets a little weird. And then who comes to my defense? The person with disability. So this last weekend, man, I had somebody with cerebral palsy defending me while I was doing a joke about cerebral palsy. And it's just magical, dude. It is just magical.
That was going to be one of my questions, actually, because on your new stand-up special, Here I Am on Roku, you talk about rednecks, right? And how,
I love them, man. Ever
yeah,
since I met a real redneck, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah. So we just talked to Jeff Foxworthy not too long ago, and he's cornered the market on that in that
Of
world. But it's
course.
so funny though, because the people that sometimes you're making fun of or poking fun of, sometimes they're the biggest fans of that type of humor and comedy. And Jeff, said so himself.
I think that it's because if you're honest and real about it, you know what I mean? If you just want to go do a dumb, I've never met a redneck, rednecks are stupid and rednecks are dumb kind of thing. Yeah, that's not, you know what I mean? That's not going to fly, right? It's just too simple. Too, you're just attacking me. But if I'm going to do a joke about a redneck inviting me, and this really happened, to go noodling, which in 1992, I had no idea what noodling was. I swear to God, when he said, you want to go noodling? I was like, I love Chinese food. Let's go
Right.
have some.
Right.
And a dude with a missing finger, all right, in Louisiana, I believe it was Mobile, literally said to me, you put your hand in you go in the water, you look in the cave, you feel the cave, you can't see none, you put your hand in there, and you hope it's not a snapping turtle. And he was missing a finger. Those are just real stories that if I tell that story to an authentic redneck, they're gonna laugh because they're gonna go, yeah, either I know somebody like that or I'm like that. Or if you want to talk about the difference between a hillbilly and a redneck, you can do that. There's a big difference between the two. That kind of stuff, as long as it's authentic and it comes from a real place, um, that works. But part of the big reason that I love rednecks is because they take a joke about who they are. They're okay with it. They don't take it personally. You know what I mean? Listen, I can't even say you might be a blank if with regards to any other group, right? I can't say that about Asians. I can't say that about blacks. I can't say that about Latinos, right? Only rednecks are the only ones that you can say you might be a redneck if. And on Mind and See, we did a sketch. I think it was called "Are You Smarter Than a Wetback?" And this was when Foxworthy was speaking to Jeff when he was doing that show. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? So, and I got no flack from the illegal immigrant community. I got a little bit from others, but not from them. And so, yeah, I love people that can take the joke, that can laugh at themselves. Everybody else wants to laugh at. Hey, don't make fun of me, but I'm going to make fun of you. Or when you do a joke about you, like you could be a stand-up and do fat jokes as much as you want, bro. I can do fat jokes as much as I want. Talk about my family. My mother had 18 kids, so talk about my mom's giant vagina. Oh, that's hysterical, bro. The minute I step out of that and go, and let me tell you about what your people do, wherever it is, oh, that's when you get resistance. And here's the thing. There's all these shows now, and now they're not just like at clubs or on tour. They're like on Netflix and it's those LGBTQ show where everybody's LGBTQ and all the audiences are LGBTQ, or the urban show, the Def Jam type show, and when you go to those shows, they make fun of each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like we can't, right? They go like the LGBTQ show I was invited to, that kind of opened my eyes to it. They were saying things that I was like, you know how many times I wanted to say that, but I can't because I'm not gay. And I went, but wait, why can they say it? And then my friend goes, well, because they're gay. And I said, oh, so gay people are different. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, can I go on stage? I need to talk to this crowd. And I went on stage and I said, hey, I don't think you gay people should be allowed to be married anymore since we're not the same. And they went, ooh. And I was like, but wait a minute. Because if I were to start, dropping F-bombs in my shows the way you guys are doing it here, I wouldn't hear the end of it. Why can you guys do it? But I can't. And they were like, but, we're just celebrating. I said, I get it. But if you're telling me that if I'm not gay or LGBTQ and I can't do those jokes, but you can because you are, you're telling me you're different than me. And if we're different, then maybe you shouldn't have the right to get married because you are different. And then they all went, you know what? Go ahead and say fag if you want. We don't care. You're right. You're right. And what I realized was that what those shows kind of do is tell people, look, this is somebody from our neck of the woods doing jokes about our people. So it's coming from a good place. And then I went, oh, so you think comedians are coming from a bad place, which is the stupidest thing anybody could ever say. Because if you know comedians, you know this. We could literally perform in front of 90,000 people, get a standing ovation, and one person doesn't stand up. And every comedian will get off stage and go, did anybody see that one asshole that didn't stand up? What was that all about? Like, we literally want to make everybody laugh. And so this whole intent thing, I don't understand it. And now I've created an environment where, and this is what I hear from almost every venue I perform in. You have the most diverse audiences we've ever had here. They're like, dude, you have a 14-year-old kid and an 83-year-old woman and every race, color mix in between, and they're here. And we don't see that. Like, we see, the niche marketing thing. So this is weird for us. And I love creating that environment. I tell people I create a safe zone, but it's not a safe zone where we're not going to make fun of people. It's a safe zone where if you laugh, nobody's going to make you feel bad. Nobody's going to make you feel guilty. We're not hurting anybody. We're just telling jokes and talking about real life issues and things of that nature. And you know what? We have to, by the way. We live in a society today where fat people aren't fat, skinny people aren't skinny, stupid people aren't stupid, rich people aren't rich. We have to call coffee makers baristas now, so that they feel better about their jobs. We have to call bartenders looking back, mixologists. Everything is to make people feel better about the truth. When it's like, look, dude, if you don't want to be a coffee maker, don't get offended when I call you a coffee maker, being that you work at a place where you make coffee. Get another job. I don't look down on people for their job. I do look down for people for the way they do their job. And that is why, I swear to God, the greatest place for me to go and have dinner, especially in the middle of the night, is Waffle House. I have no idea, but I'm telling you this. I have been to a Waffle House in pretty much every state that they exist in. And you know the one thing? They're always happy. 2 a.m, they're happy. 3 a.m, they're happy. Drunk people there, they're happy. Guy over there in crystal meth, they're happy. I literally ask for pancakes every time just to see if they're going to get pissed. And they just laugh at me and go, you want me to spit on it? And I'm like, no, I'll have a waffle instead. That's fine. I love that whole, the idea that they're, and I tell this is the joke that I tell, but in truth, I'm just being real with you. The joke that I tell is, and this is real. I love how the waitresses and waiters at Waffle House are always happy. And I go, and I don't know why they're so happy. They obviously don't have a dental plan. And I talk about that. And there's always somebody there that'll laugh and make a joke. And somebody will be like, I'm missing a tooth and I work at Waffle House. And I'm like, that's the beauty of it. But in turn, here's the thing. I also have to be honest when it comes to Latinos, right? So if I'm going to talk about, something outside, you guys, these guys, those guys, I'm also going to turn that mirror around and put it on me in the honest light that it should be in, so that everybody feels like, okay, that was even handed. And I just put a video on my Instagram this weekend of a lady, and I didn't like the way she said it, but I posted it because I understood what she meant. And if you listen to the video, there's a gap in there. That's because she was talking smack about another comedian, and I'm not into that. So she said, F this guy, Carlos Mencia is the man. You can't hear all that stuff. I even blurred it so you can't read it out. But she goes, it was awesome. He offended everybody. And what she meant by that was there wasn't anybody that I didn't talk about during my show. So it was funny, but, everybody was spoken of. So, if you leave, the people that are angry are the people that I don't get to. So the last one was on Saturday. I did a show, and this guy came up to me and he goes, "Why you don't do jokes about Latvia? Latvia is funny." And I go, "Dude, you're in America, bro. We don't know the difference between Latvia and Italy. So I'm sorry, bro. We don't know the difference between Oklahoma and Arkansas. You really think somebody knows Latvia jokes? Come on, bro. It ain't going to happen." So, but it's kind of cool that they come to the show for acknowledgement, right? Like they come to the show to see, what are you going to talk about? Because you can't talk about this stuff at work anymore. So you don't make those kind of friends. You can't talk, everybody's telling you, ooh, don't, language. And I think that Carlos Mencia's shows are the one place where we can just be honest and real about whatever that is.
I have this theory that music, arts, and especially comedy is what we need right now, actually. And it's kind of funny. We're just, and it feels like we're coming out of it a little bit because of guys like you and other people as well, this cancel culture kind of thing. But there for a while, it was ridiculous. Comedy was always sort of the safe place where you could poke fun if it was in light spirit, but it was like observations. You were just making observations. If it wasn't mean spirited, there was, comedy was the place that you went to for that sort of thing.
I agree. But let's, in being honest with you, as a comedian, I will tell you that it's our fault that this happened. A couple of things occurred, right? Number one, we started apologizing for the jokes. You have never heard me apologize for a joke. I will never apologize for a joke. Now, I will say I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings. That I will, because that's honest. I did not want it to hurt your feelings. I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings. But if I apologize for the joke, then I'm saying that I'm sorry for my intent. And that I will not do. I know. I wanted to make you laugh. I'm sorry if you didn't get that. You know what I mean? If that's not your thing, my bad. But I'm not going to apologize for having said the joke, because that's not who comedians are. So when comedians who are edgy, there's a few of them. I remember when I heard that Daniel Tosh was in trouble with something and he apologized. And I remember going, no, don't apologize. Don't say you're sorry for telling the joke. That means that you did something wrong. You did not do anything wrong. So that's the first thing that kind of started. The second one was, I believe that we got lazy as comedians in some of the way we tell jokes. And here's what I mean. I have a friend whose joke literally was, if I wake up and I find out that my son's a fag, I'll slit his throat. Now, I don't care about the joke. I'm not hurt or offended, but it's a lazy joke. You know what I'm saying? There's no layers to it. There's no why. You just dropped an F-bomb. There's no, why did you say that? What's the point of it? I gave him wings to fly away. Something, give me something that you wrote that was beyond this simple sounding joke of, I hate these people, I hate those people. Make it an actual joke. And I think that that's kind of good for comedy, so that those of us that love doing it this way, the Chappelles of the world, the Mencias of the world, Carlin is past, but those kinds of comedians, we've written these jokes for a very long time, and we know how to write them, we know how to say them, we know how to, put them out so that they're not just a simple, this guy sucks, get rid of him, where it's more than that. Like, I've made fun of every single president, each one for their own little dumb thing that I could make fun of, right? So that nobody could come up to me for anybody's presidency and go, oh, now you're making fun of our guy? Yeah, like I made fun of every single one. Go check. So when you have that, it changes things. So I think that right now, comedy is weeding out people that were trying to be edgy for no reason, just edgy. And those comedians are getting weeded out, pushed to the side, because they didn't have the ability to write that joke in a more complex manner, or they weren't pushed. And now they're either going to have to step up their writing game, or they're going to have to stop doing those edgy jokes. And I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that we needed that. And I think that that's a good thing for now, as long as it doesn't go too far. But listen, you're literally talking to the first person that the internet ever tried to cancel.
Right.
So like, you're looking at, go back to 2006 and check the algorithms. The internet was against me. And part of it still is. Part of the people that love your show will ask, why are you doing, why are you promoting this guy? And it's a bunch of stuff. It's, his name isn't Carlos. He's not Mexican. He's a joke thief. Whatever it is, to explain why I'm funny and to kind of downplay that. But I've never fallen into the trap. I don't talk about other comics. I don't put other comics down. They do what they do. You come and see me. It's a laugh fest. We're all going to have a great time, and we're all going to leave happy as hell. Outside of that, you know what I mean? I'm very grateful that I've gone through what I've gone through, because it allows me to talk to you and tell you how I write differently now because of all that. I didn't become an angry guy. I kind of went, okay, what's going on here? What is this all about? Let me figure it out. And it kind of allowed me to see the comedy world from the inside, from the outside, from the good, from the bad, from the success to the failures, from being told you're the greatest comedian ever to being told you're the worst comedian ever. Dealing with all of those little things in the past kind of 10 years has made me, in not even in my opinion, for sure, the best I've ever been is right now. Like, never been better at what I do in every way. The way I write, the way I admit, the way I put the jokes out. So I'm loving going on the road right now. Loving it. And right now, I get to do markets that I kind of ignored for a while. Like markets like St. Louis, where I didn't go very much, I'm going to now. Iowa, there's like a little routing thing, but you guys used to have a little club called Penguins. I think it was in Des Moines, but that one's gone. But there's there's a little run of comedy clubs and some of the casinos that, so I've gotten to do those and kind of really connect with parts of America that are outside the big cities, right? So I'll go to Huntsville, Alabama, and I'll go to Birmingham. I'll go to St. Louis, and I'll go to Springfield. I'll go to, let me see, I'll go to Dallas. I'll go to Austin, but I'll also do Fort Hood or Killeen, Texas. So I'm not beginning because I've been doing that for the past 10 years. My finger is on the pulse of what everybody's thinking and feeling, you know what I mean? And so when people go, well, how do you know if that joke is going to work in blah, blah, blah? Well, look at my schedule. I was there a couple of weeks ago and I got a standing ovation. That's how well the jokes work. So yeah, it's a great time for me. I am loving.
I got the Iowa hat on, but we're actually in St. Louis area, which you're going to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're going to be at this weekend. Carlos Mencia, May 2nd through the 4th. Thursday is one show. Friday and Saturday, 2 shows at the St. Charles Funny Bone in St. Charles, Missouri. Just a little bit outside of St. Louis, but it's a great club, and shout out to that staff there. We're looking forward to having you in town, man. This is what we can expect? What can the crowds expect this weekend?
Well, first of all, let me tell you how this stuff works. When comedy clubs usually book you uh, about 12 to 14 months, right? Is a decent cycle. I was there about 10 months ago, but the shows were so good that the staff and the managers are like, we need to bring you back as soon as possible. And so that's why I'm coming back even sooner than I normally would have. What do you expect is this? I have um, I have no hate in my heart toward anything anymore. I'm just in a great place, but I'm not fearful. And so I'm going to go up on stage and talk about whatever comes up. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm not afraid to talk about anything. I'm not race, color, creed, religion. It doesn't matter. All of it is fair game to me. And so when you come to my shows, you just have to surrender. You just have to surrender to the comedy. Because if you start thinking, I want him to do this, I want him to do that, he better do this, he better do that, you're going to get in trouble. So just allow yourself to go, because I have no idea how one audience is going to react to a joke, right? I might tell a joke and everybody laughs. Then the next show, that same joke, people go, ooh. Well, once they go, ooh, I don't just continue the show. I come back and go, why'd you go, ooh? What was that about? Let's explore that. And then all of a sudden, instead of going to the right, I go to the left. So whatever that is, but it's catered specifically to that audience and that specific show. So just expect to laugh. Just leave all your inhibitions at home and just expect to have a great time and laugh. And know that you might feel uncomfortable a little bit at first when I do the black joke and you're sitting next to the black person. Right. And for about a millisecond, you're like, oh my God. But then when that table next to you with black people start laughing even harder than you, then you go, oh, this is okay. And then, they feel the same way when I do a joke about you. But then pretty quickly, everybody realizes, oh my God, okay, we're just all going to have fun here. This is family. This is a bunch of people in America coming together. It's not the South. It's not the North. It's not the Midwest. It's people. And that connection is what you're going to feel during my performances, because I don't view people from St. Louis different from where I live in Los Angeles. I just don't. I don't feel any different. You know what I mean? When I go to places, like my family sometimes freak out, or they're like, man, you're going to go to Selma? Selma. You're going to Selma, the Selma from the history books. I'm like, yeah, but you're saying it like it's 1965. Right. It's almost 2025, guys. Seriously, come on. Let's move on, all right? Like, how long are we going to keep this weirdness on? So because of that, because I've been doing it since 1988, and I've been going to all these cities, and I feel so American, and I feel so in touch with all of them, it's just easy for me now to connect. And so that's what happens during my shows. We connect, everybody comes together, everybody laughs, and at the end, the only people felt left out are the ones I didn't do a joke about, which I can't make fun of everybody, bro. Not in an hour. I'm sorry. I'm going to try. But, my family gets in the way. Since I'm one of 18 kids and I have a huge family, they kind of take up a lot of my making fun of time sometimes.
Do you ever find jokes in different markets don't land? Like, say you are playing the South and you have a joke about something that they're not familiar with. Do you ever feel that it's sort of regional in a way? Do you have to kind of, change your setup depending on where you are?
What's funny is, so I have a track record of bringing people on the road before anybody discovers them, and then the world discovering them after they came on the road with me, because I helped them grow and I helped them become, and guys like Joe Coy, Josh Blue, Brad Williams, etc. There's a bunch of them. Not the point. The interesting thing is, like, here's how that works. I usually bring a feature, but I'll let somebody local open for me, especially if the venue or the club goes, hey, there's this really funny kid we want you to see, right? And so one of the hardest things that they have to learn right out the gate is I tell them, man, you're really, really funny, but about 90% of your stuff is local stuff. So that stuff isn't going to play, right? Like, let's say I meet somebody this weekend. That stuff's not going to play next week when I take you to, perform in Corpus Christi. It's not all those references. So my comedy is literally built to be funny no matter what. Every joke, by the way, every single joke, to be funny in St. Louis, to be funny in LA. It doesn't matter. You name the city, I'm going to pretty much do the same stuff in the same way. Words here I might be more aggressive here, less aggressive there, but the actual content is exactly the same. But what I try to do with the young guys is take the local stuff out, and try to teach them how you can write a joke, because jokes are human. You know what I mean? They're just human. It's just normal stuff. It's just the jokes that are the best are the ones where everybody goes, oh my God. Like we started this interview by talking about the redneck stuff. The reason why all those redneck jokes is because they're authentic. If they weren't, right, people wouldn't feel oh my God, that's true. Jokes that have that to them, that, oh my God, that is so true, are just, they land everywhere. And it doesn't matter. And it's irrelevant what the outside crap is. It goes to that. So I already do that. I just try to help the young comics who are like funny and local and killing it, to, hey, come on the road with me and let me teach you how to be that funny in every city, not just here. Oh man, what are you talking about? I'm funny. I know you're funny, bro. I want you to come on the road with me. That's how funny you are. But I'm just telling you, oh man, get me on the stage. Get me on the stage, and then inevitably, bro, they go on stage and eat it on Thursday's show. They eat it on Friday's first show. Then by the second show, I go, you need some help now? You ready for the help? And they're like, man, I like that joke more. I know. Here's what you need to do. And then we begin to mold the performances so that the jokes are not about people that live in a specific area. It's about people, right? That's why relationship jokes always work, right? Because they're relationship jokes. But I think that what's cool about it now is that because of how big the world is getting, how small the world is getting, today you can go up on stage and be a heterosexual cisgender male and do a joke about dating a chick, but then do a joke about what would it be like if I was gay? What would it be like if I was trans? What would I be like if I was? And those are hypotheticals, but I can do those now because of the way the world is working. And that stuff, it doesn't matter like where you are. It's all about how you present it, where's the angle of the joke coming from. Like I told you, bro, I love this time right now because every joke that pops into my head, like right now, I literally have never thought about relationship jokes and what kind of person I would be if I was like gay or trans or whatever. I'm going to go up on stage and probably explore that, see where that leads, see where that goes. You know what I mean? Would I be a good gay lover? Would I be a bad gay lover? Would I be a good trans? Would I be a bad trans? You know what I mean? Would I want to hide it? Would it be easy to, like all that little stuff, right? And that's kind of where, the comedy comes from it. And so in my head, I go, man, if I was a trans, I wouldn't want to cut it off. But would I want to cut it off? Would I be that kind of guy? I'd probably want to tuck, which would be easy for me because I'm not huge. Man, that must be hard for black dudes that are trans, and just like all that stuff is just to me fun. And, so if it ends up happening like it did here with you and me talking, it ends up. If it doesn't, then it goes another route. But right now, you can just make fun of everything except for talking about politics. Politics is just rancid right now. The minute you use politics from one side or the other, no matter how good you are, no matter how funny you are, no matter how great your jokes are written, it's gonna turn people off. And so I've never really tried to do that kind of stuff, but but I but I see how right now it's just not a good thing. You know what I mean? To talk about politics as a whole. But I still make fun of all the presidents, and whoever's in charge for those 4 years gets pissed. But they weren't pissed 4 years ago when I was making fun of the opposite side. Right. So they can kiss my ass. You can kiss my ass if it was funny for me to make fun of Obama for 8 years, but not like. Oh, I'll tell you a story. So I was in Rothschild, Wisconsin, bro, doing a show, and I get a phone call, and this was during Trump's administration, and I go, well, what's going on? And they said, hey, listen, are you going to do Trump jokes? And I said, I don't know. They're not a staple or anything. Not anything I have to do, but they might come up. Why? And they said, well, people called in and said that if you were doing Trump jokes, they might not come. And I said, well, the honest answer is I don't know. But now that you said that, probably 100% I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I went on stage and I immediately said, raise your hand if you are one of those people that called in. And they raised their hands. And I said, keep your hands raised if you've been a fan of mine for over 3 years. And every single one kept their hands up. And I called bullshit. And I said, no, guys, I will not take this from you. I was doing jokes about Obama that whole time. And you never, ever called me and said, are you going to do jokes about Obama? And the jokes that I did about Obama were like a little more edgy. I think one of the jokes was Obama is the whitest black guy we could have possibly picked. Wait, let me remember the joke. Yeah, the blackest part about Barack Obama is that he doesn't know his dad. That was legitimately one of the jokes I told. That's a good joke, but dude, it's a little like, you know what I mean? And if you're not going to complain about that, and you're going to complain that I said our president is an orange Oompa Loompa, and that's too far, kiss my ass. I'm not going to go there. So right now, man, as you see, I have literally been liberated comedically with all these niche show jokes, because what those shows told me was it's not inappropriate to tell jokes, and it's not inappropriate to make fun of whatever those people are. What it is as long as they know that you're coming from a fun, happy, good place, they're okay with it, which, by the way, means every comedian, because every comedian is coming from a place of trying to make you laugh. So there you have it. And that is just it. Look at me, dude. I get giddy just thinking about going on stage and poking people and having them laugh. And there's a depth to it too, by the way. I talk about how I was molested as a kid by a priest, and I'm Catholic. And, last week I was performing in, Virginia, and Arlington, Virginia. And at the end of the show, this man came up to me, and he must have been in his 70s, and he was smiling and crying. And he gave me a big hug, and he towered over me. I'm maybe 5'8" right now. I'm shrinking. I used to be 5'10". I don't know what happens, but you shrink when you get older. He was maybe 6'2", 6'3", and he just leaned and just engulfed me. And he said, that's the first time I've ever been able to laugh at the fact that I was sexually abused by my mom when I was a kid. And I just want to thank you for that. Thank you so much for that. And, when, as an artist, I can make you laugh, I can make you think, I can make you process, but I can also be cathartic and give you a way to look at pain that you didn't have before. I mean, come on, I'm changing the world, even if it's just one person here and one person there. That's the effect that I had on another human being, just by taking what I did seriously and implementing that truth that we were talking about throughout the jokes. So it's unbelievably rewarding right now, bro. I'm getting a lot of that. And by the way, to all the people that used to hate me, that don't hate me anymore, or that believed it and don't believe it, or thought, yeah, that was all true, and now we're like, no, it's not. You don't have to apologize to me. You don't have to say I'm sorry and freak out and be like, no, you don't understand. It's all good, man. I have a great life. I took a lot of hits, but my mom is taken care of, my dad is taken care of, my wife's mom and dad are taken care of, my family's taken care of. I have a good life. I'm not going to complain about it. And you don't need to apologize. You believed somebody that you respected that told you I was a bad person, and now you don't, and I'm okay with that. So no more apologies, guys. Just enjoy the laughter, spread the love. You literally don't have to say sorry anymore.
Well, it sounds like you're in a great space right now, man. Headspace, and just, excited about comedy again. It seems like we're excited.
I am, bro.
We're excited to see you this weekend, May 2nd through the 4th, St. Charles Funny Bone in St. Charles, Missouri. Carlos Mencia on the barn. Thanks so much, man. We've taken up too much of your time, but we really appreciate it.
I appreciate you, brother. And if you can make it out to one of the shows, man, we'll smoke. So you smoke cigars? Smoke a cigar after, have a shot or something, brother.
Got one right here.
There you go, bro. So I'll bring I'll bring you a Cuban, bro. Because awesome. My dad visits Cuba all the time. So he brings some really nice Cubans. And maybe we'll have a shot of, you know what? We can drink some scotch. I'll bring a bottle of Lagavulin, 18, really good scotch. And we'll have a cigar, brother.
I'm going to hold you to that. I'm
down, bro.
All right.
Look, got the lighter here, bro.
All right, man.
I've got my lighter there. So you see it. Bro. That's real. Here we go. I'm ready, bro. I got you.
May 2nd through the 4th this weekend, St. Charles Funny Bone in St. Charles, Missouri, St. Louis-ish. Carlos Mencia.
Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. Love, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.